Morning peeps, I'm back, and today we got quite a bit to talk about because it does feel now as if things are starting to move quickly. The transfer market's moving quickly. FPL is certainly moving quickly, not in terms of opening the game, but in terms of what they are doing to the game. And it's got a few people a little bit hot under the collar. The latest collaborator for FPL are teaming up with. We've had Microsoft with the Copilot, and now they're teaming up with Adobe to bring us lots of exciting graphics and customization of our graphics, making our kits, all that type of thing, adding various images, sharing our content and our team scores with nice shiny new templates and all that type of thing. So we're going to be having a quick look at that and what Fantasy Football Fix. We're going to see what they're saying about it because they're one of the first people to actually put up a display of what the changes are going to mean. So we're going to have a quick look at that. In other news, Tottenham signing Morgan Gibbs-White has got people again all hot and bothered, especially Man United fans who have spent the last 6 weeks trying to buy one single player. Meanwhile, everybody else is just getting on with it and bringing various players into their team. I just turn it up a bit, peeps. It might be a bit low, the volume there for you. So that's all happening. Chelsea are through to the World Club final against the mighty PSG, so we'll see how that goes. As long as they don't show themselves up, I'll be reasonably happy. But I do think they have got a chance. They have got a chance. And as you remember, Botafogo beat PSG 1-0 a few weeks ago. And I think Forest, their new plan is to buy the Botafogo team. They've already bought Jesus in as their striker to compete with Chris Wood. And I think they are actually looking at another couple of Botafogo players. And they've just banked about 115 million for selling it Alanga and Gibbs-White. Although they didn't have much choice with Gibbs-White because I think he had a release clause and Tottenham came in and triggered the release clause. So they didn't really have a choice. And so soon after selling Alanga, it's got a lot of Forest supporters just to be a wee bit worried. And it's not really a surprise, is it? And these clubs, honestly, these clubs like Brighton, Forest, if they just kept their players, imagine if Brighton had kept all their players like Caicedo, even the goalie Sanchez. Who was it? Caicedo. They sold so many to Chelsea. Cucurella, João Pedro now. If they'd kept all these players, they'd probably be in the Champions League themselves by now, wouldn't they? But it's almost like these mid-table teams, they go above themselves and get scared and suddenly sell all their players so that the natural order of the table has to be restored. Do you know what I mean? That's why the top six is always the same. Even when they fall out of bed, like Tottenham, they immediately come back up because the natural order of things is restored by the way that all the players gravitate to the same teams all the time. If Brighton had just held these players, imagine what they would be now. They'd be earning a lot more. They wouldn't have got the money for the transfers, but they would be earning a lot more money, wouldn't they, if they were in the Champions League? Anyway, peeps, we're going to have a look at this ever-increasing march towards complete AI domination. Even my thumbnails, even I'm doing it myself now, designing my own thumbnails because it's all become so easy. Everything's become so ridiculously easy that we're all falling down the trap of AI. So let's have a look. So FPL's had a massive makeover and we're in control apparently, although it doesn't necessarily feel like we're in control, does it? Because it's turning into a complete shit show and we don't have much choice. So they are partnering with Adobe, and that's them. So what does this mean for FPL? Let's have a look. You can create your own team kit. I mean, we can kind of do that anyway. You can't really change your colours. Design your custom club badges and use Premier League templates to share key moments. In itself, none of this appears to be a bad thing, does it really? But like I said on Twitter, instead of hiring Mark Sothers, they would have been better off just employing a kid with a few crayons. I mean, if you look at this here, your average 6-year-old could do this, couldn't they? Just do a bit of scribbling around some players, job done. This is the way the Premier League wants to go. It's embracing AI, and everything is embracing AI, much to probably the detriment of the entire human race at some point in the near future. But anyway, we shall continue. So I'll be able to have my own Lippy Lions on my shirt this week and design my own club badge. So that's going to be very good, isn't it? So you've got brand new ways to show off your style and creativity within the FPL world. See this? Look, you can put your name on your shirt and do all these sort of things. And already, though, there are murmurings on Twitter. Alex Vollo, who does do a lot of behind-the-scenes work for content creators, designing YouTube thumbnails and all of that type of thing, is not too happy about this change. And creatives in general are no longer getting paid properly for their work. It's all being copied. And you've got things like Canva, Adobe, pretty much putting people out of business, isn't it? And it's only going to accelerate. It's only going to accelerate, peeps. The times they are changing. You can't even trust what you see on screen now, can you? And you can even have your voice. They can even now imitate your voice and everything and phone people up for you. And it's not even you that's making the call. Crazy. You're just not going to know up and down before very long. Right, so FPL's goal is to deepen fan engagement with a more personalised and interactive experience than ever before. So it's going to look much different. And those of you, like myself, who don't really like change very much, are going to find it all very stressful, I think. I mean, the whole look of it could be completely different. Our FPL page could look completely different. I mean, the game's updating now, and I have a feeling we're going to have a longer wait than normal this season because there are so many changes taking place, and it normally takes about 10 days to update, I think, once they go into updating phase. And it's going to be very interesting to see what we end up with. Very interesting. And on that note, I was watching a YouTube video this morning. I think it was Above Average FPL. And it's one of the guys behind Solio, I think, was on. And this top secret project that is going to hit this season, I think. And it's all to do with models, of course. And that's going to all change things as well, I suspect. So there's a lot coming up. And it's all to do with basically computer-assisted help. And I don't think it's for the good of the game. My reaction to it all, and I mean, if you watched my video the other day where I was talking about how the template and how everything, the models and everything is making everything the same, well, it's going to get even worse. And my response to it is going to be to go even more the other way. I'm going to watch even more football. I'm going to be analysing what's actually happening on the pitch, and I'm going to be looking at less and less of these models because, quite frankly, it just doesn't interest me. I'll tell you what, right? I saw a post from somebody at my chess club the other night who plays correspondence chess. It's where you play by mail. And I gave up playing it in about 1990. I was actually one of the youngest people to play in the British Correspondence Championship way back when. I was only about 16 or something. And you'd spend hours and hours studying like just one move. Literally, sometimes even days. And all that changed once computers came along. And you had people that would like literally be spending 5 minutes because they'd just be putting that move into their chess computer and it would be doing all the work for them. Well, now they've got the World Correspondence Championships, and you are actually allowed now to use computers, a bit like in FPL in a way, in a sense. And what happens now is the last World Championship, there was only, I think, one decisive game in the whole tournament, and that game was because one of the competitors died. He died and lost the game by default, and him dying decided the World Championship because every other game, every single game in that World Championship was a draw. And the reason it was a draw is because it's basically people sitting there with their computers. The computers are doing all the work and they're just drawing with each other because they're so strong. And it's almost like chess is almost solved now at that level. And I thought, what is the point? What on earth is the point? And we're not there yet with FPL, but we're getting there. And there are people now that with these models, there was a guy on today, he does very, very well with them. But I congratulate him because at least it was his own model that he was using. You know, he makes his own models and he won the Telegraph game or whatever. And great, you know, but the ones that irk me are the ones that are using the other models, like Review. It's not their models. They're just like these chess players now that are using these computers in their correspondence championship. They're just basically nothing but computer operators convincing themselves that they're the ones making the decisions, when in fact, really, it's becoming very borderline. And the chess, like I said, this correspondence chess is now null and void. Proper chess players don't play it. You know, I mean, this guy at the club does because he's into computers probably and all that type of thing. But it's not chess as we know it. And it's not going to be FPL as we know it soon. It's going to really get to a point where using these models won't give you an advantage because literally everybody is going to be using them. But I won't be one of them. Like I said, I'm going to be going the opposite way even more. It's just going, whether that hurts me or not, I don't know. But at least my team will probably be a little bit different, which will in fact probably give me more chance of getting a bad rank, but also more chance of getting a very good rank. Because once everybody's got the same thing, just like in the chess, every game will end in a draw and everyone will be on the same points. I know chess is slightly different because there are more variables in FPL, more random events in FPL, and it's only 38 game weeks long. But that's the way it's going, and it's a shame. It's a shame, and it's only going to be exacerbated by all this AI and that's coming into the game itself, giving it that feel almost of being an AI game, doesn't it? But like I said, it's going to be good for me because I'm going to get to watch a lot more football. And remember the days when shots on target was like the big deal, wasn't it? Shots on target, shots in the box, and that was about the extent of where the stats and that took us, wasn't it? Well, now it's just going down a complete rabbit hole, you know, aided by all these powerful computers, and we'll see where it all ends up. But it's not too promising, in my opinion. But we shall see. We shall see, peeps. Anyway, that's about it, really. I just wanted to come on and let you know this is happening. And when's the game going to open? I do not know. I do not know. Probably about a week's time, I suspect. A week from now would not be far off, probably. What we're going to be getting, I have no idea. No idea at all. But I would like to see the deadline moved one way or the other. I would also like to see more control over price changes and the price change mechanism. Game itself, I'm not sure. But I think with AI being released in January, there probably will be a mystery chip that somehow does involve that AI in one shape or form. But we shall see. We shall see, peeps. And one other thing, I'm a co-presenter on the Pubcast podcast that's starting this season with Gary Nightmare and the rest of them, D-Unit, Roberto and Stevo. I think that's all of us. And all the money we get will be going to charity. You know, it's better to give than to receive, and we shall be giving all the money through to charity. So that'll be one show you can watch. It's not going to bombard you with models. You can be pretty sure about that, peeps. So think on and tune in. You know what I mean? I'll talk to you all later anyway. And good luck for Forest this season, because I think they're going to need it. Good luck for Brentford as well. You've lost Norgard. You're losing Buemo if United ever buy him. And apparently people are coming in for Vissa. So, you know, these clubs have to have, like I said, they have to have their natural order restored, you know, because they did too well last season. It can't happen. They can't be allowed to finish above the likes of Tottenham, Man United, Newcastle and Chelsea. So they have to sell us all their players, you know, as it goes on. Ebbs and flows all the time in that direction, doesn't it? And sooner or later, you get teams like Southampton, Bournemouth, all those sort of teams all end up at some stage being relegated back down to the next division because they've gone too far and sold too many players. So it's going to be interesting to see whether Leeds can stay up this season at the expense of some of these teams that are selling all the family silver. Anyway, peeps, I'll talk to you all later. So like and subscribe and say goodbye to my new end screen, which is, of course, AI generated. So cheers for now then, peeps.